Hello and welcome to another Semester at Sea video where we are going to talk about who else is on the ship with you because, surprise, it's more than just students. So, my name is Jess and I've made a lot of Semester at Sea videos and some other videos as well, so if you're interested in subscribing, please do, and let's get right into it. So first of all, of course, there are students on the ship. That's a given. There are usually around 500 to 600-ish students. I think on my voyage, we were low on students, and they were really trying to get people to go on that voyage because people just weren't that interested in the itinerary because the voyages that go to Asia seem to be more popular than the ones that go to South America. But I think everywhere's good and everywhere's cool. But just less people signed up for my voyage, which was actually kind of nice because then it wasn't so crowded in the lasting reunion or in the dining hall. And there were like some empty rooms as well, just like less crowded on the ship, but you don't really get to choose that for yourself. Anyway, I think the most students they can have on the ship is somewhere in the mid 500 range, and these students can be as young as 17 and up to the age of 23-ish, maybe 24, because you can go before you go to college as like a gap year, and you can also go after you leave college post-grad. And it's harder for post-grads to get into Semester at Sea because they want people to go who are actually in college, and the most common age of people on the ship is 21 or 22, and juniors in college in the United States, because that is the most popular year to study abroad in the United States at the universities here. Okay, so that probably covers what you already knew, so now let's move on to other people that are on the ship. Of course, one person that is on the ship with you is the captain. The captain is in charge of the ship, and he always comes over the intercom to tell you things that are important, like if you're hitting rough seas or if you have lifeboat drills, that's gonna be the captain talking to you, and he drives the ship. And then of course he has his crew, his like 5 co-captains or so, and these people work on steering the ship and making sure you arrive places safely, so they are at like the top of the heap power-wise on the ship. And a little bit into the voyage, you might hear about an opportunity to tour the captain's quarters and the front of the ship where they steer from, and that's really cool, and you can sign up at the reception desk on deck 5 once they talk about that, of course, not right away. But it's pretty cool because you get to see all of their navigation stuff and all of the different flags that they put up on the flagpole when you get to a different country. They always put up the flag of the country, so it's just a cool thing to see. And then the next group of important people on the ship are the deans. So you're gonna have a head dean who's sort of like the president of the ship, or I don't know what else you'd call him, like the principal of the ship. Like if you're at a school, he'd be the principal. He's the head dean of the college, all that kind of good stuff. And then there are 3 other deans who have different jobs. One dean focuses on student activities and one focuses on academics, and they all work together when it comes to discipline and all of that stuff. So the deans talk to you a lot. They lead a lot of the safety lectures that we have before we get to different ports. So they just know a lot of what's going on the ship, and you can always talk to them and ask them questions because they know the most. The next group of people on the ship that is sort of obvious, again, is the professors. So I think we had 20 to 30 professors on the ship, and they taught maybe 70-ish classes, so each professor teaches more than one class. So I know that my professor for World Drama, which was sort of like a theater English class, also taught a Spanish class. So the professors are very versatile, and they are definitely going to be teaching more than one course on the ship. And then it is also a possibility that your professors will bring along their spouses and their kids. So that's pretty fun because there might be ship kids on your voyage, and they can be aged from like 0, like little babies, to like 15, and they get so much attention from the older kids. And there is actually a job that you can get on the ship as a student employment opportunity, which you get paid for, by the way, which is someone who does like childcare and teaches the ship kids, because they have to do school as well, even though they're on the ship. They're like missing out on their elementary or middle school for a semester, so they're gonna need like tutors and people to tell them about the next countries we're going to, and just to teach them things and keep them entertained while their parents are teaching all day, being professors. So that's always a really fun job opportunity for you if you love kids, and you get paid like $4,000 to do it, which comes off of your tuition, so you can watch my video about student employment on the ship if you're interested. Okay, and then the next group of people who is on the ship is on the other side of the age spectrum, and we call these people lifelong learners. It is just people who are interested in being in a community with college-aged kids and seeing the world. So they pay for their own travel and for the opportunity to be on the ship with you, and they can audit classes and go to global studies and all of that and just learn about the countries along the way, which is so cool. And like, I want to be a lifelong learner when I'm older. If I have a ton of money, like that'd be awesome to go on Semester C again. But these people are really fun to get to know, and they often lead a lot of clubs, and you can always sit with them at dinners or any time of the day and just talk and get to know them, and they'll tell you really cool things about their life. So that is the lifelong learners. Okay, and then I probably should have brought this up earlier, but then the rest of the crew on the ship, I should have talked about them when I talked about the captain. But there are a ton of crew members on the ship, more than you're probably ever going to realize, because they're often working below decks with keeping the ship running and everything, or working in the kitchens, or working cleaning your rooms and all of that. So there's probably 100 or 200 other crew members on the ship. That was a very rough estimation. I have no idea how many there are. But be sure to thank your crew anytime you see them. They live on decks 1 and 2, and they keep the ship running. And then aside from the crew, there are also other people on the ship that are hired by Semester at Sea to keep the ship moving as well. So there are people in the field office, which plans all the field programs and the travel for the students on the ship. And there's a librarian, and then there's also a doctor and a nurse on the ship. The doctor in my voyage was named Dr. Phil, which was a fun joke because his name was Dr. Phil. And then there are also 6 RDs. Maybe they're called RAs. I think they're called RDs. I know they're called RAs like at my college. They're similar to JCs. I don't know if any of these acronyms are making sense to you, but they're the people that are in charge of the activities for the students and planning like bonding activities within the corridors on the ship and all of that. So they're sort of like leaders, and they're probably like 25 to 35 years old, and they are so much fun, and they plan all these fun activities for you guys. So they are on the ship as well. And then the final group of people that I'm going to talk about that are on the ship, in addition to all the other people I've talked about and the students, are interport lecturers or guest speakers. And this is something really cool that I didn't know was going to happen until I got on the ship, actually. But between each port, so when we're going from one country to another for like the week or so that we're on the water, Semester at Sea brings in different lecturers and people to talk to you and teach you things on the ship, which is really cool. And they have programs at like 7 p.m. at night in the lasting reunion where they talk about whatever topic is in their expertise. So one of the coolest lecturers that was on my voyage was Ron Stallworth, who wrote the book Black Klansman, which got turned into the movie a few years ago. And it's a really good movie, and it's so cool, and it's based on his own life. So he did a lecture for us, and then we watched the movie, and he answered our questions about it and told us the discrepancies between the book and the movie, or like real life and the movie. And that was just so cool to meet him. And he also did book signings. And there's just a ton of people that they bring on the ship between each port, so probably like 12 or so, because we have like 12 ports, and you can learn a lot from these people. And then also sometimes Semester at Sea brings on different students, and they're usually students from the next country we're going to. So when I was going to Trinidad and Tobago on my ship, we had 2 students from Trinidad and Tobago come the week early when we were in Brazil to join us on the voyage from Brazil to Trinidad. And these students taught us about the cultures and the food and the dances of Trinidad and Tobago that are popular there. And it's so cool that Semester at Sea does that and brings international students onto the ship to teach you about the countries you're going to next. So that was about it for this video. I know that was a lot of information. If you have any questions about what I was saying, please leave them in the comments below and I will try to explain it a little bit better. And thank you guys for watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys next time.